Welcome to the family with
Alex Bernard Rasmussen.
Andy Brent
Co-hosts.
Bernard.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
You guys want to get okay? Well, let's start over.
Well-
Why don't we go Alex, then Andy, then Mom?
All right.
What do you think? You
Usually-
ready? You ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Welcome to the family with.
Alex Bernard Rasmussen.
Andy Brent Bernard.
Co-host Catherine Brandt
Which
off
game?
camera today because of not knowing how to plug it into a computer.
No big deal.
She can't just plug it into this laptop that I have, can she?
I don't think the cord's long enough.
No.
Or she can't. Because you'd like to see Nana on the show.
I am crucial.
You
Not
are well. There's no
happening.
good around. You are. It's very. You are very crucial.
Feel
No
crucial.
question. But I wanted to thank a lot of people up front. Not to spend a lot of time on it, but in the one day that we switched over from the Thomas Bernard to Tom Bernard because people thought Thomas was hilarious, so we got rid of that. We went over to new. The old site had a 5,000 follower limit. The new site does not have any limit on the followers. Correct?
No. I mean, theoretically, it's somewhere in the billions, but, if you reach that, then we got other issues.
Yeah, if we get to the billions, yeah, you're right. It's going to be a little bit. So far in the first day, we have 1,013 followers. So in a 48-hour period, that's pretty good.
I would say so.
Yes, and it's delightful that you have something new to obsess about.
I'm not obsessing about anything. I'm being grateful. There's a difference
little bit.
between obsessing and being grateful.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute. I hit something accidentally because
You're
it told me to block somebody, and I don't want to block anybody. There we go. I got rid of it.
You should block Mike Bilski.
See, I should block Bilski. I think it'd be great.
You're pulling stuff. There you go.
Settle down, you big baby.
Yeah, well, Jesus.
What?
Okay.
So what's new?
It's weird not having Andy here in the studio.
After
Yeah.
7 weeks in town, Andy's not in town.
Being
Oh,
s-
God.
being
I
s-
forgot about my
Being
watch.
squished in to the studio.
I know. I feel
Yeah.
weird being in this other room.
Oh, yeah, you were in here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You were doing, what were you doing? Sound engineering, I guess.
Engineering.
Doing the board up.
So
Word
what's
up.
new? Anything good?
Nice and warm.
Yeah. Dan did his. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be 60 today.
That's what I heard. But then
Yep.
it's going to get
Wow.
freezing a couple of days, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well,
it's like
tomorrow's.
a 40 degree temperature swing between Monday and Wednesday, I think.
Love
well,
those.
the high is 60 today, and the low tomorrow is 6. So
Whoa.
that's quite the swing, I would
Oh.
say.
I didn't
Man.
even realize how neat.
Yeah.
Man,
Dan did
stuff.
his Dan did his Birkebeiner
how'd that go?
With no snow.
with all. Yep, it was just a man-made snow 10K loop that everybody did 5 times.
Huh.
10K loop 5 times. Okay.
'Cause it's 50K
That makes
race.
What, they couldn't make 50 kilometers of snow?
Yeah,
Lazy.
I know.
Did they have to go in waves or because of
Yeah, they-
just the loop?
Yeah, they did waves 1 through 3 first, and they only did 30K. And then once they were done, they re-groomed the trails and then did the elite wave, which is what Dan's in. They're the only ones that did 50K.
Okay.
And then after they were done, they did waves 4 through 6, 30K.
So I'm guessing conditions were pretty sloppy.
Well, he was like the thing about cross country skiing is like you have to get the wax on your skis perfectly.
Yes, you do.
And it makes a huge difference in your race. Like the temperature of the snow, the temperature of the air, the slushiness of the snow, the coldness, whatever. It all matters so much. And if you don't get your wax right, it makes your race harder. And he waxed his skis too warm. So he's like, it basically felt like skiing on sandpaper
Oh, yeah.
because it was warm, but it didn't warm up until later, and they weren't skiing until later, and it was this whole thing. So it got colder than they said it was supposed to get overnight, so it took longer to get warm and whatever. But he finished, and he said it was fun to do the 10K loop because the course was actually pretty decent, and he's like, the entire time, the whole way around, people are cheering for you because they were just
That's
lining
nice.
the whole course,
Right.
which is usually at 50K, point A to point B. And they like ski across a lake and all this stuff. And so there's usually not cheering for a good portion of the race.
Mhm.
But so he's like, it was fun. And he wore a ski suit that had donuts all over it. And
Donuts? You mean like
he's
donuts?
he's part of a training group that they call themselves the Donut Crew, and they have donut ski suits. And he wore that, and he's like, a lot of people really loved my donut suit, and I was like, that's when you know you got the right outfit, when people are cheering for your outfit.
That's true.
Yep. So, and
Very
I'm
nice.
very glad that it's over. I'm always glad when the Berkey is over.
Yeah.
Because all of
There's a-
February is basically just like Berkey, 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 cross country skiing, training, 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 skiing, training, Berkey. It's like, okay.
There you go. You've had enough.
Yeah. Well, and Dan's like, I'm like the week before, he's like, I'm ready for this to be done.
Yeah.
So
How much longer is he going to do it, you think?
until he dies.
Yeah.
Or he'll do it every year till he dies?
Well, he
Yeah, I
physically-
mean, we went up there one year and it was just freezing, so cold, and they people were getting treated for frostbitten
frostbite.
toes and fingers, and some people just collapsed, and it was just, I don't know how,
Yeah, it was real cold.
when it's that cold, why?
Yep. It's a journey. It's an interesting
It's a
thing.
journey.
I one day want to do the Cordy, which
The
is
the corgi.
Corti,
Oh,
Cortalovis.
I
thought you
thought you
said
were going to buy a
corgi, too.
corgi and do a
Well,
race with a corgi.
yes,
I
I
would go
also-
for that.
I also would like to have a Corgi one day.
Corgis.
But
Yes.
yes,
We
no,
got a
the
Judy.
Cordy.
You have half a corgi.
The Cordy is 29K.
Oh,
I'm like that one day. One
So
day.
29K is what, about 18 miles, something like that?
Well, 5K is 3 miles,
right.
3.1.
So it's about 18, just like I
Math
said.
it up.
Yep.
See?
Sure.
What do you think of that action?
Well
But
done,
yeah,
kilometer
so-
man.
Well, so everybody basically, other than the Elite Wave this year, did the Cordy, because the Cordy's like a race that's normally on a different day than the Birkebeiner. I don't know if it's either on Friday or Sunday. I can't remember if it's the day before or the day after. It's probably the day before.
I would do the one where the dogs pull you around.
Oh, skijoring.
Yeah.
That's something that I would like to do too. That's on
Yeah.
my bucket list to
Then you don't have-
skijor.
Then you don't have to work too hard.
So dog sled racing?
Well, you're
no,
on
it's just-
skis.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, okay.
But there's a dog running in front of you. And I'm like, I would really love to do that. And Birch he would love that. But the problem with skijoring is you can't train for it like anywhere.
No, why
There's
not?
like, because they don't allow dogs on ski trails because they rip up the ski trail.
Sure. Yep.
Oh,
So you have to go on like pretty pathetic ski trails because they're like, oh, we don't really care about these ski trails because they're just going to get ripped up by dogs. So you have to drive to like only specific places that allow skijoring on them. And
Oh.
I think there's like one place in Minnetonka that
I'm
allows
out.
dogs on the
Anything
ski
that's
trail.
hard, I don't want to do.
I know.
Really?
And so I'm like, it just isn't fun. But I'm like,
No,
maybe
it
if
doesn't
there's a year where there's a lot of snow, because you can't classic ski and do that. You have to skate ski, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
It's only skate skiing.
well, the
Um,
dogs are pulling you, so you just have to stand there, pretty much.
Well, you have to like do it. You have to move.
Oh,
That would be like
okay.
Being
I'm
on
out, I'm
roller-
out again.
that would be like being on rollerblades and just having this dog run in front of you.
Yeah.
That's not safe. You'd be like in control and moving.
Well, I mean, if you have a well-trained dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Birch would absolutely love skijoring.
Yeah, probably.
And, like I want to do that with him, but it's not easy to find a place to do it.
Okay.
All right, we got like 5 headlines I want to get to because I mean there's usually not that many. Do you know anybody who is still on AT&T and got nailed for what is it, about 7 hours of outage? It was about 7 hours. The AT&T was offline, right?
I heard various states had various amounts of outages.
Oh, they did?
They were blaming sunspots, right?
Is that what it was?
Sunspots. Why would sunspots affect AT&T?
Solar flares. I mean,
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, just like
I don't know. That's what they were blaming.
If there were solar flares, they'd affect all cell carriers.
Yeah.
Okay, well here's the deal. What are you boring you there, Alex?
I have yawned so many times today, and I slept
Big
really
baby.
great last night. I don't know.
Oh, you did? That's good. Here's the reason I'm bringing this up. So your phones were out on average, I think, about 7 hours, something like that. I believe was 7 hours on
Okay.
AT&T anyway. I think some of the other ones had shorter and nowhere near as many outages. But AT&T is reimbursing customers for last week's outage. Did you see this?
No.
No.
7 hours of no phone usage whatsoever. You've been reimbursed by AT&T $5.
I was going to say $3.
I was gonna say like 75 cents. I was like, oh,
Living
man.
the dream right
Living the
there.
dream,
Get
baby.
an extra you get an extra cup of coffee.
$5. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You got your $5 for 7. So basically, it's about 80 cents an hour you got back.
Well, when was this outage?
It was last week on Thursday
Well, like what part of the day?
morning.
Morning, yeah.
Like extremely early morning,
It's
or
like from 7 to 2 or something like that. 7
so
a.m.
it's-
to 2 p.m.
right in the middle of
Yeah.
business and everything?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
like life. Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
one thing if it was in the middle of the night and it's like,
Yeah.
who freaking cares?
Right.
It's funny to think that 7 hours without cell phones is like this national emergency.
You know,
True.
I had my cell phone was missing for part of a day, and I mean, I'm so lost without it, and I hate that.
It's not
Well, but
missing.
you can still use
I
like
thought it was
maps
missing.
and the internet and everything when there's an outage. You just
But-
can't use the phone.
Well, can't you use it on Wi-Fi too? You
Hey, if you
call
have
with
Wi-Fi calling, which almost everyone does at this
Yeah.
point, yeah.
Yeah,
Unless
so it's
you're
like,
out in your car.
yeah, but I mean,
Well, but it's like, is it that big of a deal to not be able to make a phone call in your car?
It seems like because it's just we're so used to being able to make a call from anywhere, anytime, that it does seem like a big deal now to me.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just you're just so used to it
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
that when you don't have it, it kind of just I don't know. I just feel sort of weirdly lost in it. That I don't like that. I feel like we should be able to cope without having a cell phone, a little mini computer with us
Yeah.
everywhere we go.
Yeah.
But, you know, like my calendar, it's like, where am I supposed to be when? I don't have any idea because I
one-
rely on my phone for everything.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you just, yeah, you like adapt to it and it becomes your norm. And then when it changes, it's like, oh, what?
Well, it's, if you think about it, we've had indoor plumbing for what, like 1/10,000th of human history, and
Mm-hmm.
if we didn't have indoor plumbing, a lot of people would die.
Anytime I have to go to an outhouse, I'm
Yeah,
unhappy.
not happy about it.
It's so gross.
Yeah, and I'm not a big out-of-house guy myself.
Really gross.
To pee, it's okay. Well, not for women, though. It's still a
You gotta
pain.
sit down.
You gotta hover.
Which reminds me of an episode of The Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, my God.
She has a baby in a porta potty,
Ugh.
and somebody's got to dive in there and,
And
get
get
the
it.
baby. It's covered in the blue. It's the
Gross.
grossest.
It is. That's a great show, though.
And it's so stupidly funny. I mean, it's just the dumbest show, but it's hilarious. You'd probably hate it, Alex.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Sounds like it.
Oh, it's a
Well,
great show.
It doesn't do that all the time, but it does. Every once in a while, it goes way too far.
I started watching a show that you guys used to watch,
Hmm.
Young Sheldon.
I love Young Sheldon. It's a
we
good
haven't
show.
watched that in a few
I
years,
had
though.
so Dan was in Wisconsin all weekend, and so the kids sleep in bed with me when Dan is gone.
Sure.
Slumber party, and they fell asleep at 8, and I was like, I don't really want to get out of bed, but I don't want to go to sleep, and so I was like, I'll watch something with headphones in, and so I watched I didn't realize that they're only like 15 minutes long.
They are?
Yeah.
No, they got to be 22s.
No, they're not even half an hour. I
Oh,
thought.
because of 15 minutes of commercials.
Which
No.
one is that?
Really?
Well, it's a
Young
Netflix.
Sheldon?
It's a Netflix thing.
It's 22 minutes long.
No,
It
Young
has to be
Sheldon
20.
was a
Yeah.
regular.
It was a
network-
regular thing.
Yeah, it was a regular network.
I like
Mhm.
looked
Oh,
at
no,
one and I
it's 18 to
yeah.
21 minutes, variable running time.
yeah, they're
Really?
short.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Jeez, what'd
I
they cut
watched
out?
one yesterday and it was 16 minutes. I was like, what?
Yeah, because of
Yeah, because it
commercial
was
time.
on TV. Wow, they must be playing a lot of commercials on
Yeah.
CBS.
I know, because I was talking to Christy about it. We took the kids ice skating yesterday, and she'd never watched The Big Bang Theory or anything because I had seen her the night before at a family birthday party, and I was like, I need a show. I need a show to watch when the kids fall asleep. I just need, and they were like recommending me all these like fantastical things, and I was like, I don't want to know, or it sounds too intense. I was like, I just want an easy show while the kids are sleeping. I can watch, and it's just lighthearted. And so I started watching this, and I was like, I've burned through so many of these in an hour. What is going on? And they're really short.
So here's my question about Young Sheldon. So when Young Sheldon started, that would be
It's been 6 seasons too.
Yeah, a long time ago.
2016.
Yeah.
He was 12 years old.
Right.
Okay. They say
Uh,
he was 9 though.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
whatever.
Show.
But he is now turning 16 in a few months, the kid.
The kid in real life.
Yes.
Okay.
So what are they going to do about the fact that, he's gone through puberty
Yeah.
and yet he doesn't look or sound anything like Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory? Do they just don't think too hard about it?
Well, I think the show's over now. I don't think it's.
No, it's still going.
It's the last season of
The last season, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
I think
So-
it's one of those like you just kind of let it.
Yeah, just what can you do? We didn't expect this to go for 8 seasons.
Yeah.
So
What did Jim Parsons look like when he was 16? I wonder.
Yeah.
No wonder.
No, I don't know. His voice
Skinny,
is
skinny kid with a big head, I'm guessing.
Well, yeah.
and big eyes.
Oh, here we go. Jim Parsons got yearbook pictures. I mean, he looks basically the
Similar?
same. Yeah, very similar.
Okay.
Just with more hair.
Yeah,
I
you'd
would think so.
Mhm.
Still
Yeah.
one of the greatest TV shows of all time.
What, Big Bang Theory?
Big Bang Theory is one of them, yeah.
I thought
What
it was hilarious.
great show.
I stopped watching it after a while. I really liked it in the beginning, and then I was just like,
It got samey.
Yeah, I for some reason
Well,
was
they
just
all
like,
do.
I don't really care about this anymore. But I really I'm liking Young Sheldon, and have it's an interesting.
If you want a really tiny short show that is kind of interesting, Still Standing
Mm-hmm.
it's a Canadian television series.
Johnny Harris.
Johnny Harris is a guy that's in a show that we like called Murdoch Mysteries, which is also a Canadian show.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a comedian, and he goes all over Canada and goes to these struggling small towns and does a little why they're here, what happened to start this town, why it's starting to die,
Right.
what's going on now. I mean, some of these people, my God, they are living very remotely.
Oh, yeah.
And it's amazing that they can still be in some of these towns. But anyway, he makes a little show about the town when he's finished up, and they're only 15 minutes. I think it's 6 seasons.
I think it's 8 seasons.
8 seasons, and it's a lot of them. So there's a lot of little towns in Canada that are really struggling.
since
and-
most of
Yep.
it is uninhabitable.
Yep.
And he's really he does a great job. I
He
think.
does. He's really
What's it
good.
called?
Still Standing.
Oh yeah,
And obviously it's kind of samey because it's like here's a little town and they're struggling, but there's different characters or people that he interviews and talks to, and all of them have kind of a different story. Like one of them was I think there were 8 towns in Canada that were on the Underground Railroad for slaves to
Yeah.
escape America.
Yep.
And one of them is still around. The other ones are gone, defunct. I don't know whatever happened to them. And he talks about that whole thing. And it's incredibly. Some of these towns are incredibly interesting, and some of them are very beautiful. And
Oh, God, yeah, they
and
are.
some of them,
Gorgeous.
people are starting to come back to them because they want to get out of the cities and the cost of living and the craziness and COVID. And it's like, why not just go live in a tiny little town and be self-sufficient?
Not a bad plan.
It's a nice show, and he's funny. I like him a lot.
He's very good. You guys ever watched Murdoch Mysteries? Oh, the only reason I asked that is because he plays
Is he a constable or is that a higher up?
I think
cop?
he is a constable. Yeah, he's like a cop on there. He's really good at that
They have
too.
different words for things up there.
They do indeed. All right, I have 3 headlines. I want to get to all 3 stories, but you guys get to vote on which one goes first. Okay, you ready? Do you want to hear about 10 hobbies that make people undateable? Do you want to hear about the 10 noisiest cities in America? And this is the one I do want to do this one last because it's going to be pretty fascinating because I was 11 years old, or 10 years old actually. The cost of living in 1962.
Oh, hilarious!
Oh,
Can you
man.
imagine how much cheaper things are going to be all those years ago?
I was
62
I
years
was
ago.
probably still in diapers, so I can't even imagine how cheap everything was.
Which one you want to go first? You want to go
Let's do the undateable one.
Yeah.
undateable?
I have a quick Amendment.
Oh,
Yes.
Joe and Jeff, one of our listeners, both said that the AT&T thing was due to a code upgrade.
Ah,
A code upgrade, and you get $5 for the code upgrade.
No, they upgraded the code, which broke the system for 7 hours.
But and then all you got back was 5 hours, though, or $5. I mean,
I mean, if you think about what percentage of a month is 7 hours, and then what percentage of your bill is $5,
Yeah,
it's actually
I
probably
guess.
not bad.
I'm sure
I
their bean
suppose.
counters figured out a way of prorating it.
I guess that's true. Okay, you ready for undateable?
Yep.
yep.
Would you date someone who obsessively collects Stanley tumblers? What the hell
No.
is a Stanley tumbler?
They're a
It's like
fad.
this kind of thing, but
Oh, it is okay.
I
this
couldn't
is like
care
a
less.
giant off-brand thing because
Okay.
Somebody wants Stanley. That wouldn't matter to me.
I am married to someone that collects unintentionally bike water bottles because he gets so many of them for free from
No,
work.
I suppose, yeah.
There are so many in our cupboards, and I am like a 1 cup per person type person.
Yeah.
And so, but they're up in a cupboard and I just don't look at them, and it is what it is. So I guess
It is indeed.
I mean, the Stanley thing, I don't care about collecting, even if it's like a big part of their life, but Stanley tumblers are a fad, and I don't like people who are into fads.
people love them. I don't know.
Yeah. I
cups.
can
Yes.
see.
Whatever trips your trigger, as they say.
Yep.
Oh, here we go. All right, I'm going to start at the bottom. It goes 1 to 8, but I'm going to go 8 to 1. Everyone in the dating scene has at least one deal breaker, but people online are talking about specifically about hobbies that are red flags. And here are a few. These are hobbies that you wouldn't date someone if they had this hobby. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Number 8, smoking weed, and a few people said drinking. Again, not occasionally partaking. It's making it a hobby and a big part of your personality to smoke weed.
Yes,
you think?
absolutely.
Yeah. I
That
would
rid of
agree.
them?
When Dan and I on our 3rd date, I think it was, we were like, what are your like
Deal breakers.
hard stops? Yeah. And we both were like, if you didn't want kids, if you drank a ton, if you were drank or I mean, I think it would
Smoke,
be implied
yeah.
like smoke.
Any substances, yeah.
Any substance abuse. And if you like didn't exercise.
Here's what I don't understand. You can get THC in pill form. Why would you want to inhale smoke
They
in
say it hits
2024?
different.
Oh, does it?
That's what they say.
It's quicker.
It is
I just
quicker.
wouldn't.
I
Well,
guess.
and also, I mean, you don't want somebody that's downing 50 gummies a day either.
Well, no,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
suppose.
Well,
Yeah.
no, yeah. They're going to be just useless.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right, number 7 is gambling in both.
Oh.
It's both the financial risk and the personality of gamblers.
More vice, yeah.
That's a no from me.
hmm
No thank you.
Gambling?
Absolutely.
No, I mean, if somebody goes to the casino 3 times a year
Well-
and plunks down $100, that's fine.
Yeah, same thing with
yeah.
drinking. It's like, yes, if you go out with your friends and have a few drinks every once in a while, like, great,
Yeah.
that's fine. But if you're, it's like,
Yeah.
if it's a part of your
It's
personality.
the
Mhm.
addictive crap.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, being a social media influencer, they asked about hobbies. It's unclear if people feel the same if you're successful enough that it's a job, or maybe it's even worse if it's a job, being a social media influencer. I don't know much about that. What
I mean, are we social media influencers?
No, you are not.
I mean, we're some
cares?
sort of influencer.
You're not an influencer.
I mean, if it's a job,
you run an
then-
account. Well, okay, here's the thing. Dan has been in social media marketing for a long time, and he runs a very popular account that has like a cult following. And the only part about it that is, so he's not an influencer. He's the marketing manager of
Mhm.
right.
a business's thing. It's just he's on his phone so much
Right.
all the time because he has to be responding to people because a part of running a successful business account on social media is that you're active on it and you're responding to people and you're having conversations and you're starting
Mhm.
conversations and you're keeping people interested. So he's just on his phone all the time. His next job, he's like,
Wow.
he's like, I will not work do social media at all. It's like, absolutely not. Whatever job he moves on to next.
All right, number 5 is collecting controversial memorabilia, like things involving serial killers, Nazis, pornography, taxidermy, and things racist or hateful.
Well,
Why would you?
serial killers and
tax-
pornography, I would absolutely like. You have to be a major weirdo to collect things like that.
Yeah.
Nazi
Pornography.
stuff, it's like, are you collecting specifically Nazi stuff or World War II stuff? Because most collectors, they'll collect anything from World War II, whether
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
a Nazi coin or it's like U.S. helmet or
Yeah.
British, like a deactivated grenade, that kind of thing. They just
Yeah.
love
Right.
anything from World War II.
Yes.
But
people-
if you're like specifically seeking out like portraits of Adolf Hitler, that's a little different.
it's weird.
What is that? Is that the Nazi symbol? Is that originally from like India or something like that?
I think it's older than history.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a
It's
very,
like a-
very old symbol.
Yeah.
And what did it used
they,
to
like-
mean?
Well,
But
it
they
still
al-
does mean it's like harmony, I think, in many cultures. It still
Oh.
does. It's only the Nazi swastika when it's rotated 45 degrees.
I was like, they moved it a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if it's 45 degrees off axis,
Mhm.
that's the Nazi one. If
Yeah.
it's not, it's the other one, which I think Hindu does it, Buddhism does it. I think a bunch of other religions use it. It's
Mhm.
all over the Asian continent, and it has been for ages.
Oh, so that it's just kind of straight up. Then it's not tilted to the side like the Nazi
Exactly.
That's
swastika.
like a cross, straight up and down.
And I
Oh.
believe the reason he chose the swastika as the Nazi symbol was because, so people don't know this. What does Third Reich mean?
The Third Reich, I thought it was the third test.
No, it's the Third Empire.
Yeah.
The First Empire being the Roman Empire.
Oh, sure.
Then I believe it was the Austrian Empire, some other empire. And his idea was to turn Germany into the Third Empire, meaning a country that spans, half the globe. He wanted to make Germany into the new Roman Empire. That's why he called it the Third Empire.
Mhm.
And I think the swastika may have some connection to that whole, idea. I don't think they used it in Rome, but let's see here. Where can I find the history? Prehistory. The earliest known is from 10,000 BC. Found in Ukraine.
Wow.
So
Oh,
there
it's
you
in
go.
Ukraine, really?
So
I
it's
had
been
no
all
idea.
over the place for longer than people have been writing words down.
There you have it. Well, we've gotten halfway through the selection of 8 things. Would you date someone who obsessively collects these things or does these things? We've gotten through smoking weed, gambling, being a social media influencer, or collecting controversial memorabilia like swastikas, Nazi stuff, all that stuff. So we're halfway through. Would you date someone who, number 4, is in bullfighting or dog fighting?
Absolutely
No, hell
not.
Jude.
Yeah.
Jude voted.
They're literally choosing like the worst. Like, would you date somebody that was an axe murderer?
I know. It's the next
Hey,
one.
we
gonna
might
be
get
like
to that.
Serial killer
Would
or
you date
something?
somebody that wears other people's skin?
Mhm.
Like what? What?
There you go.
The bullfighting.
not.
Do they kill the bull in bullfighting? I know they used to, but I don't know if they still do.
Well, they
I think
certainly
now.
torture it a lot.
Well, these
Yeah.
days, is it more like a rodeo where it's like the guy's
Yeah, I
dodging
think
and
so. Yeah.
bobbing and
Absolutely not.
weaving, and then he just leaves, or what? Because I know it used to be, the whole thing was you'd have these little spears, and
Yeah,
you'd,
and
you'd
you'd
have the
poke
bull
'em. Yeah.
charge at you, and then you dodge out of the way and throw a spear into it. He just did that
There's-
over and over till it bled to death.
Picadores,
Yeah.
Right.
And
banderilleros,
what about the clowns?
The
Are those
yeah.
part of traditional Spanish bullfighting?
My extent of knowledge in bullfighting is from the book Ferdinand.
Oh,
So that's
Well,
That's
but,
it.
I mean, like, even if they didn't still kill the bull, would
it's
you
not-
want to date someone whose hobby is almost dying?
no,
Probably not.
no.
What happens if it's somebody who has been a bullfighter, has been in a bullfighting family for generations
Spain or something.
In Spain, and
Yeah.
it's the only thing they know.
Still no?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Bullfighting, dog fighting, or anything else that's harmful to animals, they will not date you.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Number 3, being obsessed with politics. Oh my God, I'm glad that came
Well,
up.
mom's a yes. Mom's a
Hard yes.
on that one.
If I had known.
I'm a hard no.
Oh, you were obsessed with politics when you met Dad,
Me?
to at least some degree.
No.
You wrote, "Who is the president?" Ronald Reagan, and then you wrote "ick" afterwards in My Baby book. So
There you go. Political Nana.
Well, it's just because
Right
I had
there.
to write the I had to read the. I had to. I mean, what am I supposed
Having
to
an
say?
opinion about the president isn't obsessed with politics. Like
Yeah.
I,
No,
Donald
that's
Trump,
true.
ick. I like.
Oh, but
I'm
would you
not
write that
obsessed
in
with
Fawn's
politics.
baby book?
I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be
I
weird to
wrote Fawn's baby book like 3 pages and forgot about it. So
That was it.
Well, I can't say I've ever liked a president, so
yeah.
yeah.
Well, and that's fine. That's one thing I don't understand. Being obsessed with politics, far left, far right. I don't want anything to do with you. I got no problems with Democrats. Got no problems with Republicans or centrists. I do favor centrists who can see both sides of one issue. The fact that these people now on national television that are making money from this can only see one side of the story. You do have to understand they're only saying that because there's money in it.
Well, you're obsessed with politics, Dad.
No, I'm not.
Absolutely.
You have 100% are obsessed with politics.
Maybe
spend-
I.
Compared to most people.
You spend, I'd say, 85% of your day
No, I do not.
consuming
Not even
something about
close.
politics.
I mean, you're not necessarily hyper partisan, but you are
Yes, but
obsessed with
obsessed.
just politics in general.
Yeah.
Well, I think what you guys are talking about is the fact that I don't understand how people can have an opinion where if you don't agree with me 100%, I hate you. I did read a lot about politics trying to figure out how we got to that point. Just because I don't agree with everything you think, you hate me. That makes no sense.
Well, my answer is a no. I would not be with Dan if he was obsessed with politics.
There you have it. Well, I don't think anybody is anymore. Like I said, I got my position now. I got no problem with Democrats, got no problem with Republican centrists, but the extremists, I want nothing to do with them. Because
What's
it's all about money. What?
So what's next?
God, shut up, all of you. You know, I'm trying to make the world a better place while you sit around on your ass doing nothing. That's
Oh, is
all
that,
I'm-
is that what I do?
wow.
Okay,
That's
thank you so much for
exactly
letting
right.
me know that I'm worthless.
Exactly. Well, I didn't say you were worthless.
And weak.
And weak.
And
I did say you
pathetic.
were weak.
And stupid.
Okay, particularly when it's rage and hate fueled. See, that's what we're talking. Being obsessed with politics, particularly when it's rage and hate fueled.
Let's move on.
What if
Which
you met
ones are-
someone who was obsessed with like the politics of like the country Chad? They had no connection to it. They
Yeah,
just
but
were
they just
super
were, like,
into
yeah.
this one country.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Oh,
How would you feel about that? Would you,
You
be like,
got 'em.
Obsessed with anything.
Yeah, I mean,
Really?
obsession is just not generally a good thing.
Yeah,
That's
like
true.
if something just consumes so much of your life that you can't like February, the obsession with cross country skiing, it gets old, but it's only the month of
Mhm.
February, so I can handle it because the
Well,
rest
there
of the
you
year,
go.
he's fine.
But I think to tell you the truth, that being obsessed with politics is going to wane quite a bit, because look who you ended up with. I mean, they're trying to throw each other in prison during the quest to be
Sure are.
president again. I mean, it's just amazing. They would rather throw somebody in prison than just go away and you can't be president anymore. I don't get that.
No.
I don't understand it. Okay, number 2, being obsessed with celebrity culture, especially worshiping celebrities. Well, we don't do that. Nobody in
Hard
this
no
family
on
does
that
that.
one.
Yeah, but most people are obsessed with celebrities, are they not?
say
Well, a
most
lot of people are. That's why there's celebrities, I guess.
I don't know anybody that's obsessed with. Not
Maybe.
obsessed. I know people that are like big Taylor Swift fans and stuff like
Mhm.
that, but like just celebrity culture in general, I don't know anybody that.
Well, I mean, it's pretty rare, I feel like, to be obsessed with celebrity culture after the age of like 20 something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You would hope.
Yeah.
So, as teenagers, of course, it makes sense because teenagers are dumb and have nothing going on.
Yeah.
But it's like, who has the time to care what Kylie Jenner says?
Natalie Green.
No, I agree with that. But you guys have to understand something. Since you were in your early 20s, you've been around celebrities for the past 12 years.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing is I've never understood it because
Right.
it's just been normalcy to me. But I don't know. I feel like even if that wasn't the case, I still would not be a huge fan of that.
No, I think that's
thing.
true.
It's just
The
not
num-
my thing.
Right. The number one question, would you date someone who obsessively does this? Number one is obsessively pranking people.
Mm,
Oh God, no. I mean, ugh.
yeah, how much of a child do you have to be to make being a prankster your personality as an adult?
That's probably the least one.
Least awful of them.
Yeah. Of
Well, it depends
yeah.
on what you mean by pranking.
Well, because like Dan likes to prank, but not like obsessively or constly. You know,
Or not
everyone-
mean-spirited either.
No, like when we were dating, he put, you know, those things that you throw on the ground that make popping sound, they have like gunpowder in them.
Yeah, poppers.
He put those underneath the toilet seat in
Oh,
his
yeah, so it
house,
would
and
pop.
when I sat on it, it like made there were like 10 of them under there, and he laughed so hard and thought it was just hilarious, and I'm like, you're such a dope. But it's not
You're
like
such a dope.
it's not like I feel like I'd be anxious if I was married to somebody that constantly was pranking
Well, I
me.
know,
Where
you'd
it's
always
like
be
you're
on
always
edge.
yeah, like, oh, what is it going to be next?
Right.
I
No,
don't
I
know.
understand that. I
Yeah.
understand that 100%. Okay, so now we have left, ladies and gentlemen, the 10 noisiest cities in America, because I want the last one to be, it's not going to be the close of the show,
West Palm
but
Beach.
the cost of living in 1962 is going to be it, because I have not looked at it yet.
Jim
But
wants
right-
to add one question to
Okay.
our, no dating policy thing.
Okay.
He wants to know if any of us have cut a first date short due to first impressions or something.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I've never cut a date short, I don't think.
Oh yeah. There was one.
Nana tried, but didn't work.
I was on a date with. I had a friend that set me up with one of her friends, and he was the most boring human being I had met. I was talking the whole time because he was just so boring. Like he didn't have much. And I'm like, maybe he was shy, and I'm
Retired.
like the least shy, and so maybe he was like, and maybe he was like, she was the most obnoxious human being I've met in my life. She wouldn't
Could
shut up.
be,
But I
could
was just
be.
like, I was trying to ask him questions, and everything was just like a one-word answer or like nothing. I was just like, this is
Nothing was
awful.
clicking. Yeah.
So I left.
You left the date?
Yeah, I was like, this isn't.
Sorry, man.
Yeah,
You are dismissed.
So
Yeah.
what did he say when you said this isn't working?
probably like every other answer. I think he was like, and then I just,
So
I
it's not
went-
that big a deal one way or the other?
yeah, I went on my merry way. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't mess around too much with. Well, your mother and I have been together for 44 years, so there wasn't much time before that to get all that involved.
Well,
Yeah,
but
I mean-
even this is like a first date.
Yeah, I've been on a lot of first dates. Very few second dates.
I suppose that's true.
I think that was
Well-
my only first date.
You know what's interesting about that is Mom and I were on our first date, but neither one of us knew it was a first date.
No.
She was just interviewing
yeah.
me for her journalism class,
Yeah.
Ah.
and it just kind of worked out that it was all because I had hair in my food. That you know, your mom and I ended up getting married because of there was hair in my food.
Yeah.
Well,
you-
that's not the only reason.
Well, I'm not saying it's the only
The
reason.
only
but
reason.
That's all we have.
Thank God for hair.
thank
Whole
God for
foundation.
hair in your food. Okay, so we get now to if you're thinking about a move and enjoy the soothing sounds of bottles breaking and sirens wailing in the full distance, quick grab a pen. A study ranked the noisiest cities in the United States based on everything from traffic and construction to noise caused by airplanes, subways, number of bars per capita, or how many drunk people. So what it'll do is, why don't we go? I have not looked at the list yet. So what is the one city you've been in that was the noisiest city you ever been in? Do you have one?
Chicago.
Chicago?
New York.
I've
You
never
went
been to
New
New
York?
York, but I'm sure New York has to be in the top 3.
New York
Easily.
is very, very nice.
It's got to be New York, LA, and I don't know, some other hellhole.
LA's not that noisy.
It depends on where you live too, because I mean, if you're in a very residential area of
Yeah.
New York, of Manhattan, you really don't hear that much stuff. But
Yeah.
you know,
So you
Chicago,
guys are.
when we went to Chicago, it was extremely noisy.
It was, yeah.
There was never not a siren going.
That's pretty much true. All right, we're going through it. So you guys are going with New York, all three of you,
It's got to
I
be.
can't think
So-
of any other. Is this in America or the world?
in America.
Well, there's probably going to be like some city in Alaska where the entire thing is just one big port for barges to come in, and
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
constant.
it's going to be something like that.
air
But
horn.
yeah,
I have not seen the top three. I'm looking at from 10 to 4, and not one of them's a surprise. Number 10 is Los Angeles, the noisiest
Yeah.
cities in America.
that makes sense.
Number 9 is Long Beach, California, which is right in the same area as Los Angeles, right?
half of them are going to be in California.
Number 8 is Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the people bitching
Philly's a
about
big-
everything.
That's a big city.
I love Philadelphia, though. So far, I like all three places. I have not found this to be true, but they're saying Miami is the 7th noisiest city in America.
I've never really
I
been
would believe
in
that.
Miami.
Yeah.
No? And you believe that's true, Catherine?
Oh yeah, there's so much traffic down there.
Yeah.
Lot
There's
of
a lot of
traffic.
traffic and a
So-
lot of people outside all the time.
Yeah.
Zillions of people have moved to Miami, and it is packed.
Oh, it is packed now. There's no question about that. They said something like, what was that figure again? 60,000 people have moved from New York to West Palm Beach.
Uh,
I think it was like
60% of the people, or something like that, of people that moved here from New York have moved to West Palm Beach.
Yeah. It's
That's, I think,
amazing.
It's not probably exact, but it's something like that. And I
Hmm.
guess there's a lot of people from New Jersey that are also
Mm-hmm.
hightailing it down here.
It's true. Number 6 is San Francisco.
California
Yeah.
again.
I don't remember that being noisy.
Oh,
Remember it being
yeah,
horribly noisy. I mean,
Well,
it's a city.
We were there a while ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I was
in high school.
Yeah, I was like maybe 19, 18.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That's about right. Yeah.
it's still. I mean, any big city is going to be noisy. I don't remember it being like I can't take it anymore.
I do. But I had lived in Dayton my whole life prior to
that's
that.
true.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, that's a good point you bring that up, Andy, because you guys grew up, but I grew up in North Minneapolis, so it doesn't seem noisy to me at all because North Minneapolis was always very noisy. So maybe, to me, it's different because none of these cities seemed all that noisy to me.
But you love noise, so.
Well, maybe that's what it is. So I love noise and politics. That's what I love. We figured
Yeah,
that out
it's usually
today.
noisy politics.
Ah, there you
Noisy
go.
politics. I really love.
Put both of your loves
Fox
together.
News at volume 40 is usually.
Oh no! I can watch Fox News for about 2 minutes, CNN for about 2 minutes. These national news programs are disgusting. I only watch local news now.
Well, there you go. All right,
It's
what's
just-
next?
Oh, to be changing up here. What are you, the
I
floor
want to talk
director?
about politics.
Well, you brought it up.
No.
You did.
No, I said
Yes, you
you
did.
like
You
noise.
did.
And then
Yeah.
he said, I like noise and politics.
Oh, I suppose. But then
But you brought up politics
It's
in
your
the
fault.
first place.
So.
It is your fault.
I didn't. The list
Okay.
brought up politics.
We're moving along.
Please, God.
Number 5 is Boston. Again, I did not find Boston to be noisy.
Never been to Boston.
Me neither.
Oh, I don't know about Newark.
Newark has an airport right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Right in the middle of town.
Only
Last,
ever-
yeah,
only
constant
been to the airport.
planes. Yeah,
That's true.
constant airplanes,
And
lots of
people from New
traffic.
Jersey are loud.
Okay.
are.
It's a good thing that you brought that up because number 3 is Jersey City, New Jersey. So Newark and Jersey City are number 4 and 3. What do you think of that action?
It's very concentrated right there.
Yeah,
Traffic and
it is.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, things are not looking good for New York. So what would be if it's New York is number 1, do you think Chicago will be number 2?
And
I'm
Chicago
sure
has to
Chicago's
be.
on there somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have
Okay.
a huge airport. They have a lot of
2
sirens,
airports.
a lot of bars, a lot of all the things that you said on that
Yeah.
A lot
one.
of gunshots.
Okay, I haven't clicked on it yet. You ready? Number 2 is Chicago.
Heyo.
It ranked first in the average number of flights per day. That's a lot of
Yes.
flights in and out of Chicago because
yeah.
it's right in the middle of the country. No doubt about it. So that just there's no way it cannot be New York City, correct?
It's
I
definitely.
would think.
So you would say we go to Los Angeles, Long Beach, Philadelphia, Miami, San Francisco, Boston, Newark, and Jersey City, Chicago. None of those surprised us.
Fargo's not on there, huh?
Fargo's not on there.
No.
True.
Winona? No.
No question. What was the name? Now Then, Minnesota.
Now Then? No.
That's the
Now
one.
Then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the number 1 is New York City.
Heyo.
Mainly
at
because
us.
it's the most densely populated and has almost 3 times more nightlife spots per square mile than any other city in America.
You remember we were a friend of ours had an apartment in England, in London, in the Mayfair area, which was I don't know if it is anymore, a very swanky area.
Is that
But it
where we
was-
stayed?
Yep, and it was
Okay.
right across the street, and from a nightclub that was open 24 hours a day.
Oh, God.
And I remember we were there when it was warm, and I don't think there was air conditioning, so you had to have the windows open. A lot of those older buildings.
They still don't have air
Yeah,
conditioning
they
in a
don't.
lot of
It's
places in
too
London.
expensive to retrofit it.
Yep.
So I remember all night long. the sidewalk.
Oh yeah.
And
Yep.
people screaming and whistling for taxis.
Yep.
I was like, this is a really interesting location.
Vomiting
For
and
some-
screaming.
if you can shut
Yeah.
the windows, it's a lot different.
It was Jimmy Hayes' apartment.
Yep.
It was Jimmy Hayes, no question about it. So basically, no surprise at all in the 10 noisiest cities in America.
No.
They fell
Nope.
right into place.
No.
Was there one big city they mentioned pretty much?
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't mention like the Seattles and Minneapolis, St. Paul, or anything
They
like
missed
that. So,
West Palm Beach on the corner of Dixie and Okeechobee.
yeah, there you
The
go.
loudest place in America.
Loudest place in America, no question about it. Okay, so that brings us to the cost of living in 1962, which this ought to be fascinating.
Oh boy.
Can we pick one thing? Well, let's see now. A burger, fries, and a Coke at a fast food place like a McDonald's or whatever. When I was a kid, you could get all three for less than $1.
Well,
Wow.
when we were kids, it was the dollar menu.
The dollar menu, that's exactly
The
right.
dollar menu was a thing until like shockingly recently.
Yeah, it was. But how much do you think a hamburger, French fries, and a Coke would be now at McDonald's?
I have no clue.
$18.
I haven't gone to
Oh, I
McDonald's.
thought $18
Well,
for
no,
like
it's-
$4.
No.
Yeah, it's probably 4 or
Guess.
5. I don't know.
Hamburger.
I don't know.
Oh wait.
I don't know what you got to attack your mother.
Yeah.
McDonald's.
Just kind of nail and just going after
$18 at McDonald's. I mean, come on.
I don't know. If you're in a large city, you might have to pay that.
Yeah, the dollar menu's still a thing.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I
One,
bet.
$2, $3 menu.
You get
There
your
are
2
some-
French fries.
Okay.
you wanna-
I mean, if you buy a
Burgers.
glass of wine in a city with all the taxes on it, it can be $25-$30 for one glass of wine. You go to out
Yeah, alcohol, sure.
in a I mean, but everybody's got to pay the taxes and the
Yep.
rent and everything else.
So a McDouble by itself, I guess, is $3. I don't know.
No fries.
What the hell is the
I know.
$1, $2, $3? McDonald's is not the right place for
No, it's
asking
not.
us because
No, you're
neither of
right.
us have been there in like 20 years.
I have no
True.
idea. And I'm trying to look up what a quarter pounder with cheese the cost is, and it just tells me what's on the
Yeah,
burger.
someone in chat, help us. How much is
Yeah.
a
Hey.
Big Mac? Someone who's bought a Big Mac in the last
with
year.
fries and a Coke. Like,
Yeah,
what's the?
there you go.
But they do not cover that in this. They
Well, what
don't
is it?
cover it.
Well,
What
I
does
think,
it have,
Andy, when
then?
you were a teenager, that's what you ate. You ate a double Whopper with cheese and French fries
Yeah.
and probably a Coke.
That's
and I
basically what-
believe it was around $5, $6.
Darren says it's about $13 for a meal.
See?
Holy Hannah!
What?
Who's closer? Me.
The other Andy says
$13.
over 10, so yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
$13.
Why would you go to McDonald's and spend $13 on that? You can go to
Because
Culver's
food-
for just like not that much more and get something way better.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people like those French fries.
McDonald's French fries are really good. It's true. Okay, I'll run up the food really quickly. And if you're shocked by the cost back in 1962, let me know.
Is this adjusted for inflation?
No, this is back to where it was in 62.
I will adjust it accordingly then.
Okay, then it cut. Fresh baked bread, 21 cents per loaf. A loaf of bread was 21 cents.
Which
What is it
modern
now?
is $2.15.
Holy Hannah!
Wow, we've inflated 10 times since then, almost
10
exactly.
times.
I don't
almost
know where you
exactly.
can
So
get
multiply
a
all these
freshly-
prices by 10 and you'll get the modern currency value.
I
That's
don't
pretty
see
easy.
Anywhere
is
that you
not-
can get fresh bread
For
for
$2?
$2.
No.
Probably
fresh-
no.
a
There's
Say,
no-
loaf.
if you go to Breadsmith or something like that, it's
No.
probably like $5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
So yeah,
least.
bread's definitely. But I mean, we don't grow our wheat anymore.
Yeah.
That's
We
true.
import it all from China, and that costs a lot of
Absolutely
money.
true.
Yep.
And a lot of people are allergic to it.
Yep, a lot of gluten allergies now. Makes you think.
Yep.
Indeed.
Okay, fresh ground hamburger. How much per pound do you think it was in 62?
Still not much for hamburger. So per pound, it's probably going to be like 50 cents. Not even 50 cents, probably.
15 cents a pound.
Yeah.
40 cents. You were right, Andy.
Really?
Just not even 40 cents per pound.
Well, and now it's the hamburger. Is it grass fed? Is it 80%
Right,
lean? Is
true,
it 90%
true.
lean? Blah, blah, blah.
Let's
There's a
see,
lot
how
of
much is
different prices on hamburger.
Ground beef roll at Hy-Vee, 1 pound for $5. So it's
It's
about the same. A
12
little more.
times more expensive.
Huh.
But after inflation, it's not really.
Oh, I suppose.
Interesting.
Eggs. How much per dozen? 32 cents.
Well, now if you buy Vital Farms eggs, they can be $8 a dozen.
Yeah, you can get eggs for like $3, but you can also get eggs for
Yeah.
$6, $7, depending on what you
Right.
buy.
So it's like 10 to 20 times more expensive.
Sure. Eggs went crazy during
Yeah.
COVID.
Yep. A pound of bacon, 69 cents.
That seems cheap.
Yeah, bacon is much more expensive now for sure.
I know.
Bacon is not cheap.
Love bacon.
I have no idea how much a pound of bacon is. Anybody know?
Well, once again,
Not the one to ask.
is it sugar-free, no hormones?
See, that's a very good point.
Is it
'cause
the
it's-
cheapest, crappiest bacon in America? You know,
I would say if you buy like Hormel microwave bacon,
Oh
it's
yeah,
probably
that's nice and
not-
cheap. I
yeah,
used to
it's
buy
probably like
that
$2.
pre-cooked bacon and just eat it without
it's
cooking it, just right out of the
Yeah.
package.
Ugh.
Just eat the
There you
whole
go.
thing as a snack.
God.
Yum yum.
And you wonder
Okay.
why you have stomach problems.
Joe says that a quarter pounder meal, $17.19.
There you
See,
So
told ya.
actually-
go. $17.
Almost.
Scoff at me.
I know.
That's just shocking.
That's insane.
$17. Jesus.
Say
Yep.
you're sorry, mother.
Sorry, Mom. I mean, that's shocking.
I know. Well, that's the thing is we haven't gone to McDonald's in 20 years, so
Right.
we
No, it's true.
Dan every once in a while goes and gets the McDonald's breakfast because
people
he-
love the McDonald's breakfast.
Well, he's very emotionally attached to it.
A lot
'cause
of
his
people are.
Dad would take him there on
Yeah.
Sundays.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
And it was like a whole every Sunday. And so when he's feeling like nostalgic or something or needs like a little extra I don't
Comfort
know,
food.
serotonin or something,
Yeah.
he goes and gets a McDonald's breakfast. And he goes like there will be 2 weeks where he goes like 4 days a week and then he won't have it for like 4 months.
Yeah. That's how I am.
Yeah.
Okay, the last three food things I'm going to run together. Ground coffee, 85 cents a pound.
Oh.
Vitamin D milk, $1.04 per gallon. And granulated sugar, 89 cents for 10 pounds of sugar.
Oh, 85
89
cents a pound for
cents.
ground coffee actually sounds kind of high after inflation. That's like $8.50 a pound for ground coffee. Is it that much?
Probably.
think
I don't
it
buy
is.
coffee, so
I don't either. I don't know.
I don't
anything
buy
about
any
it.
of the things that anyone has mentioned, I feel like.
You don't buy eggs?
Other than eggs and sugar. Those are the two things.
let's
Those are
see.
two
Ground
ones.
coffee at Hy-Vee. Oh, well, the Hy-Vee donut shop. It's $8 for just about a pound. So there you go.
So 10 times. Everything looks like it's about 10 times more expensive than it was in 62
Well, I
on
think
average.
I think the bacon is probably much higher. Bacon,
Yeah,
I stopped buying bacon because it's just stupid expensive.
Okay, Andy, you're gonna have to look up the current day prices because the living expenses part is very interesting.
Oh, like
Oh,
things like
God.
houses, it's going
No.
to be
I don't want to.
100 times.
So sad.
Okay, United States postage stamp. How much are they now?
I have no
I don't
idea.
even know.
I think I
No
use
idea.
3 postage stamps per year.
Yeah.
I use a
How
lot of
much
postage
is
stamps.
a stamp? A
I have no
stamp
idea.
is
$1?
currently $68.
It's not
I mean,
68,
I was like,
68 cents.
for a
$68.
book? I'm what?
Back in 62, it was 4 cents.
Yeah, because they don't put
Well,
the,
that's
they
gone
don't
up
put the
quite a bit.
price on it anymore. It's always a forever stamp.
It's
So when you
forever,
buy
yeah,
it,
that's
yeah.
right.
So if you
Yep.
buy 5,000 of them today, you can
Yeah.
use them forever.
But I mean,
so
like,
they don't
if-
put the price on it.
I'm like, it makes sense, but for like my lifestyle, where I'm using 10 stamps, I'm using like $5 of stamps per year.
Yeah.
Even if I do end up saving, 50% over the course of my lifetime,
It's not
I'm probably
enough.
saving like $100 over my
Right.
life.
Well, I know, but
Right.
if you're going to bother buying stamps, you may as well buy 2 rolls.
But
And
then
it'll
you
last
lose
you a
them,
very long time.
or your child sees
Oh.
some stickers and decides to put
Or-
stamps all over
To
everything
keep them
and
in your
ruin them.
safe.
Or your
Yeah.
dog has them all
Or-
over his paws and
Yep,
ears.
yep. Jude did
Oh,
that once, didn't
yeah.
he?
He
Just
sure
like
did.
ripped up a roll of
Yeah,
stamps.
Yeah, Dad kept on complaining that somebody was taking his stamps. I'm like, it's you and me, honey, and I'm not taking your stamps.
Jude
I'm
was-
telling you, someone's taking my stamp.
Jude.
I look over at Jude. He's got them stuck all over his paws and in his ears. How he got a hold of them, I'll never know.
Got stamps in his ears.
Gotta
All
get
right, we're going
those.
to go with the current price, and then I'll give you the 62 price, 1962 price. Are you ready?
No.
How much is a gallon of gasoline now?
320,
30
30 something. It's actually
It's-
relatively low comparatively.
I've seen it at 309, and it's a lot of times 330.
Gasoline in 1962 was 27 cents a gallon.
So about
and I-
270 after inflation, so it's still
10
it's
times.
higher. Yeah.
So, okay, here's the thing with gas to me. And I know it varies vehicle to vehicle or whatever, but like, I don't think of gas because it's like, oh, if it's $3.03 a gallon, like that's pretty good. $3. But then you're filling up a 16-gallon tank
And you're doing it every week.
and you're doing it every week. So it's like
Yep.
monthly,
It's actually quite a bit of money.
it's a lot of money.
That's why I bought my car, because it's so fuel efficient. It's actually, I mean, it's not going to pay for itself, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
whoa, what just
Yeah, that was weird.
happened?
What happened?
It's
Something
super
is-
loud all of a sudden.
Oh,
It is really.
Some of our equipment might be breaking.
Oh, no.
Well, that's great to know. To know.
Mm.
Say that.
Andy's out of town for 7 weeks, and the equipment
Uh-oh.
just breaks
It
down.
was just a weird thing.
I don't
It's
know
fine.
what that was.
Move on.
Hopefully, I wonder if the audience could hear that.
It's fine.
I didn't hear it.
Oh, you didn't?
Nope.
Huh. Interesting.
You-
Maybe
They didn't
I
hear
heard
it?
a little glitch. That's all I heard.
No, Andy and I both, it got like
could-
super loud all of a
might have
sudden.
just been the headphone amp. I wonder.
Could be.
Well, it's back to normal now.
Well,
Okay, ready?
regardless. Yes.
Yes.
How much is a movie ticket now?
$12?
I would have no clue.
$18?
Anybody know?
Let's look. Fandango.
I don't know.
There you go. Look
I
at
buy
Fandango.
I buy movie tickets more than anyone else here.
All right,
You'd
chat. Let's see if you
think
can give us the price before Alex gets it. Consider the fact also that you're on like a 20-second delay, so
That's true.
that- okay.
stacked against you.
My phone has been so slow. Okay, if I'm gonna go to Kung Fu Panda 4.
Dave, Culver's Butterburger with cheese, large fries, large drink, $16. So there you go. Why go to McDonald's? Although there are people in chat saying, like this guy's from Spring Lake Park, wherever that is.
Oh, it's like
You know where
that
Spring
near
Lake Park
Hopkins?
He says it's near Fridley.
Yeah,
Oh,
near
I was
Fridley, yeah.
very wrong.
Yes, but he says where he is, a Big Mac meal is only $9.
Oh, that's good.
So I mean, it's like if you're in the city, I'm sure it's way more
Yeah.
expensive.
Okay, so for an adult to go just a regular, it happened again.
Yeah, they're saying they're not hearing anything weird.
I
yet.
don't hear anything.
Yeah, it's just our headphones.
Our headphones are going nuts.
For an adult ticket is $15.36 to like go to a. Oh, nope. Yep.
What?
Great. There's like a thing that says matinee discount. If I go at 8 p.m., is it any different? Checking seats. I'm just gonna go to Kung Fu Panda
Okay,
at
let's see
8
if that.
p.m.
No, I didn't.
$19
$19 for a movie ticket.
for an adult movie ticket at not a matinee.
There we go.
That's why you go to the Tuesday.
$19.
$19.
19
Go
bucks.
see Kung Fu Panda 4 at 8 p.m.
Worth it.
on my own.
Who's going to see Kung Fu Panda 4 at 8 p.m.?
It's a great question. There's tickets that are already sold. There's-
See?
There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There's 14 tickets already sold for Kung Fu Panda at 8 p.m. tonight.
Wow.
1962 would have cost you $1.
Yeah.
19 times more expensive. How about tuition to Harvard University per year?
Oh
I
god,
don't
it was
even
probably like
wanna know.
$500 back then.
Yeah.
You're close.
Mm-hmm.
How much is it now? 100 grand?
At least.
I mean, that's what I understand from people, that to go to Harvard's about $100,000 a year. Is that correct?
Okay.
Let's see. Tuition is $55,000.
That's just tuition.
That's just tuition.
No,
Well,
that's
this
Just living.
wait. Oh yeah, no subtotal. The subtotal build costs. Okay, no, that's not what we want. It's $80,000 for total
Yeah.
costs.
80,000.
Okay, so
And
sorry. Dan's dad. What year are you talking about?
62.
1962.
Oh, so this was before he went there.
Okay, so what did you say it is? $80,000?
Yeah. All
Can you guys hear us?
Yes.
I can. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I said $80,000.
Tuition
that
to Harvard.
Well, it's not tuition though. That's all the every
That's all in.
cost.
Everyone.
Tuition by itself is 55.
Okay, tuition to Harvard University is $55,000. In 1962 was $1,500.
What?
Yeah.
$1,500?
$1,500 bucks.
Well, that's like when Dan's parents sold their house. They used to live in Wilmer, and they sold their house, and they like told me how much they bought it for. It was what, like 1980 or something like that.
Mhm.
It was like under $100,000,
Mhm.
and it was like a 4-bedroom. And I was just like, I'm sorry, this is shocking to me.
Well-
And in the 80s, like I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it should be that giant of a
Yeah. Well,
thing.
my parents sold that house in Golden Valley, a 4-bedroom, only 2 baths, but it had like a half-acre lot, and it was a pretty big house, and I think they sold it for $45,000, and they had bought it for something like 8 or 9.
oh my gosh.
Okay, let's go with average rent per month in 1962. How much is it now?
Where?
Yeah, it really.
It doesn't really. That's true because
Yeah.
I don't know what
in
you're
a
gonna,
city, it can easily be 4,000, at least.
1962 was $110 per month for rent.
I think the cheapest rent you're going to get is around 2,000 per 2-bedroom.
You guys agree with that? About 2 G's a month, cheapest.
Absolutely no idea.
I don't either.
I don't know if I've ever rented.
You ready?
No.
Brand new car.
Well,
Depends
once
on the
again,
car.
depends on the car.
Well, yeah, but is there an average price for a new car?
Well, a super cheap car is with no bells and whistles is around 30 now, isn't it? I don't
Yeah,
even
about
think
30 G's. I think that's right.
25. Maybe you can get a car for 25,000.
What's like a Ford Edge?
I bought a Nissan Kicks, which was a relatively cheap car.
Yeah,
I think it was 26,000 all
'Cause those
told.
are very small.
Yeah, and that's like as cheap as you're
Okay.
going to get with while still having some of the more advanced options.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so just under 30.
A new car in 1962 was $2,900. That's a brand new car. We got 2 to go. You want to hear new house or average income?
New house.
There's
Yeah,
only
do
2
new house
things.
then average income, because then
Okay.
that'll kind of like be the bow on the whole.
Okay. So a new house, is there an average right now? What'd you say, about 100 grand? Or it's more than that? Or how
Way
much
more
is it?
than that. I'd say
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
300,000?
300 for sure.
For
Yeah.
any house?
Yeah.
And do you agree with
Just like a-
300,000 for any house?
Well, considering if we're talking about like the average of every house in
Yeah.
the country, then
Yeah.
probably yes, because the cities inflate it so much.
Yeah. But then you go to like super outer suburbs and then you can get a lot more for your money. But like I'd say where we live is very like average. Like our neighborhood. It's like
Mhm.
your average house situation.
Your watch. Thank you.
And okay, so the new house, you're going to say about 300 grand.
Yep.
At least.
Okay, at least.
Mm-hmm.
In 1962 was $12,500.
12,000.
Isn't that
So about-
amazing?
So about like 130, 140,000 after inflation. So yeah, that's well, that's the thing though, is if you look up, like people always talk about how insane housing prices are compared to how it
Mhm.
used to be, but they don't take other factors into consideration, such as the average size of a house.
Mm-hmm.
Size of an
Yeah, a
average
lot bigger.
house by
Yeah.
year.
Houses are so much bigger now than they were in the 60s.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
true.
Let's
That is
see,
true.
in the 60s, the median square footage of a single family home was about 1,500. Today, homes built in 2000, like the early 2000s, are at 2,200 square feet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
So homes, like new homes, are probably up in the 2,500 square foot
Yeah.
range. So houses are just like huge, and every house has forced air
Mhm.
conditioning, and furnace.
Yep.
Right.
Every house has more up-to-date electrical wiring, whereas in the 60s, you'd be lucky if you had grounded outlets.
Yeah.
So I mean, you get a
More
lot
for your money.
more for your money. But there is like, there's no such thing as an affordable house unless you're willing to, go out in the middle of nowhere, basically.
So we close with the average income. And I did see a stat just last week that said it's about 57 or 58,000 a year.
I don't know how people can live on that.
On that,
Unless
yeah.
they're
Do you guys
single.
agree with that 57, 58,000 a year? Isn't that about what you heard?
What's
Probably, yeah.
57,000?
The average income.
Averaging.
One
average-
person.
Average income for the family, not one person.
For the
Yeah.
family?
Yes.
That's
No.
probably
Not two people working. There's no way.
Yeah,
well,
there's no
it's
way.
not possible. I don't
Yeah,
think.
no. That's
Yeah. I don't
That's
think-
one
Okay, so we'll
person.
just go with that one person. Average income for one person now is what?
Let's see. Average individual income in 1962, adjusted for inflation in today's dollars, would be $32,000. So people actually weren't making a whole lot of money in the 60s.
Well,
The average income per year in the 1962 was $5,500.
That's not what the
life didn't
Chicago
cost that
Tribune
much
says.
back then.
Well, that's what it says here. So basically, the average income now is about 57, so it's over 10 times more than it was in 1962.
Well,
Oh,
you have to.
it's about $6,000 is the average income of a family in 1962.
Oh, so it was the family.
Oh, okay.
Which you guys tried to
No,
redirect.
you said $57,000 for a family today.
Yeah, and that doesn't sound
It doesn't.
possible.
I don't. Let's see. Looks like household income $75,000 in 2022.
No, so there you go. It's not that much. 18,000 more.
So $6,000 adjusted for inflation, that'd be about 60,000. So we are making more money than in the 60s.
Yeah, well, we have a lot more things to pay for now.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
like
if you think about just even public schools, no matter how hard you try, when you have 25 different languages being spoken and you have to
Yep.
have an interpreter for every kid, it just gets to be very, very expensive to educate.
Well, and the other thing, it's like, okay, people are always like, oh, in the 60s, it was so much cheaper. Everything was so affordable. But it's like, okay, I want you to take everything in your life that didn't exist in 1962 and get rid of it. What are you left with? What bills do you have? Probably almost nothing. You're not paying for
Right.
internet. You're not
No.
paying for your cell phone. You're not paying for Netflix.
No.
Get rid of all your flat screen TVs. Get rid of all your video game consoles. Throw away your air conditioner. Throw away your furnace and install baseboard heating.
Yeah.
Your car, throw that away. So, I mean, it's kind of like,
A lot of
yeah,
people
things
had
were
one
cheaper.
car.
Things were cheaper back then, but they were also a lot shittier.
Yeah, there was less
There was just less.
in general.
Less existed, yeah.
Well, people just didn't. Yeah, I mean, in my neighborhood, which was probably mostly middle class, nobody was upper middle class, I would say. Mostly middle class. People they never went on vacations.
No,
I
airfare
mean-
back then. Oh God, airfare. I
Well,
actually
even a car trip, they just didn't go. Hardly
Eric in the
anybody went out
chat.
to dinner as a family. You mowed your own lawn. Nobody had a lawn service. You painted your own house. Nobody hired a painter. Everybody did everything themselves. We didn't have air conditioning. A few homes in the neighborhood that were newer had air conditioning. We were sweltering up in those attic bedrooms, just sweltering
Yeah.
all summer long.
Yeah.
And we had a furnace that ran on fuel oil.
Oh yeah,
We had a big tank.
you had to fill it up.
Well, Kenny and Joyce, they live in upstate New York. That's still how they have heat as fuel oil because they don't have any natural gas up in upstate New York.
Yeah. And
So-
retrofitting is not worth the price anyway. It's
No.
you have to gut the entire house.
Yeah, and you can't have electric heat. It's too expensive. I mean, it would cost a fortune.
So basically what we learned, because, it's time to hit the road here, but what we learned is comparatively your income to how much things cost, some things are cheaper even if that number was a lot lower. Some things are a lot more expensive even if that number is higher.
Yeah. The
So
real
it all
takeaway is
depends.
there's just too much to spend money on today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a lot of it is voluntary.
It is indeed. So you can get by, not a problem. Everything will be good. And then we'll talk to you guys again tomorrow, correct?
I'll be here.
Yep.
See you guys later.
Got a picture in my pocket reminds me of this one was before. Every time I hear the same reminds me how you talking.